Hello, everyone. Another book today at Cindy Harper Speaks, and we're going to read about a baseball player who was called the Home Run King, Mark McGwire, written by Richard Merchant. So let's find out about Mark McGwire. You don't know a ton about baseball? Well, let's learn about one famous player. It was September 8th, 1998. A man wearing a St. Louis Cardinals baseball uniform stood at the plate. He held a baseball bat. It looked small in his big hands. The pitcher looked at the big man, and then he suddenly threw the ball. The big man swung the bat. Crack! The baseball flew over the pitcher and past the outfield. The ball went over the fence. It was a home run. Everyone in the crowd jumped and cheered. It was a very exciting day for baseball. The man who hit the home run was Mark McGwire. He was the first baseman for the St. Louis Cardinals, and this was his most important home run. Mark McGwire had now hit 62 home runs. In 1927, Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs. Then in 1961, Roger Mars hit 61 home runs, but nobody had ever hit 62 home runs in 1 year. Mark McGwire had set a new major league record. Mark put down the bat and started to run. He was so excited that he almost forgot to touch first base. Players on both teams cheered as he ran around the bases. After Mark touched home plate, he ran right to his son, Matthew. Mark picked up Matthew, and the crowd cheered. Mark had just made the most famous hit in baseball history. Mark played a great game that day. It was difficult to imagine that Mark ever had problems while playing baseball. He had poor vision while he was growing up. He had to work very hard to be good at baseball, but Mark never let his difficulties stop him. He always kept trying. Mark always worked very hard to be the best player. In college, Mark set a home run record and was College Player of the Year in the United States. After college, two Major League Baseball teams, the Oakland A's and the New York Mets, wanted Mark to play for them. Mark picked the Oakland team because he wanted to live closer to his family in California. Mark played very well his first year with the Oakland A's. He was a first baseman and hit 49 home runs that year, which was the most ever hit by a player during his first year. Mark could have hit even more home runs, but he didn't play the last 3 games of the year. Instead, he wanted to be at his son's birth. You'll always have a chance to hit 50 home runs, Mark said. He had a rookie baseball card from 1987. Pretty cool. Mark was an all-star his first year. Everyone thought he would be even better the next year, but he wasn't. Perhaps he was nervous or may have been trying too hard. This year, he hit only 32 home runs. Mark was still a good player, but reporters and his fans wanted him to be better. Mark became angry with the reporters by the middle of 1988 because he thought they expected too much from him. Mark tried to find a way to get better. He stood closer to the plate, even though there was more risk of getting hit by a ball. Mark thought that standing closer might help him to hit more balls, but Mark's hitting got worse and worse. He was also having more trouble seeing. The other players and coaches tried to tell Mark what he was doing wrong. In 1992, Mark started playing better. He hit 42 home runs. He hoped 1993 would be an even better year, but Mark was injured and could not play baseball for most of that season. He was injured the next year, too. Things were looking very bad for Mark McGwire. Mark thought about quitting baseball. No one thought he could ever be as good as he once was, but Mark didn't give up. Even when he was injured, he decided to try to improve his game. He watched the pitchers closely. He studied what they did, hoping to learn enough to help him hit more home runs the next baseball season. In 1995, Mark hit 39 home runs. In 1996, he did even better when he hit 53 home runs. Now pitchers were scared of him. Mark was a star again. Everyone was happy. They wanted to know how Mark had gotten better. Only he knew the answer. Mark had learned how to focus and concentrate. Mark began the next year by hitting 34 home runs during the first part of the season. Then on July 31st, 1997, Mark was traded from the Oakland A's to the St. Louis Cardinals. While he was playing for the Cardinals, he kept hitting home runs. Everyone wondered if Mark would break the home run record that year, but it became harder for Mark to concentrate. He had a great year hitting 58 home runs, but he did not break the record. The next year, Mark was hitting more home runs, but he was not the only player doing this. Sammy Sosa, who played for the Chicago Cubs, was also hitting a lot of home runs. They challenged each other through the entire baseball season to see who would hit the most home runs. The competition made both Mark and Sammy play better. They stayed friendly, too. Mark and Sammy Sosa both had a great year in 1998. They both broke the home run record, but by the end of the year, Mark had hit 70 home runs. He had beaten the old home record and had also come out ahead of Sammy Sosa. Mark showed everyone what can happen if you work hard, stay focused, and never give up. What was Mark McGwire famous for? Hitting the most home runs in a season. Why do you think reporters and fans wanted Mark McGwire to do better in 1988? Because he was already doing great and they wanted more. What did Mark McGwire learn that helped him reach his goal? He learned to focus and concentrate. Do you feel you learned anything from Mark McGwire? What did you learn? Never give up, stay focused, and study your craft. Even when he had an injury and he couldn't play most of that year, he studied the pitchers. He was always looking for ways to improve. So we can always get better. If you like Mark McGwire, Home Run King, press like at the end, and I'll see you next time at Cindy Harper Speaks. Thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.